Hello, my creepy crawlies. I hope all of our friends and family have had a wonderful holiday season. And we have a super special treat for you, as in a super special guest. But I want to start off by bringing in my co host, Lauren.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? I did all of the Christmas and festivity things.
Mm, are you visiting with family? Did you have people coming into town? What does Christmas celebrations look like in your neck of the woods?
Well, we had a family over early, but my parents were I was like a casino baby. They never had Christmases off or any holidays off. So we always like celebrate on a different day. And then we visited the in-laws on Christmas for a second in-law. Um, and then as per traditional, my gay ex-boyfriend from middle school comes into town and we visit with him as well every
Oh,
year.
nice. Oh, nice. As you can tell, I'm not in my normal setting, so I am still out visiting. So my family, who does not get to see this part of my life, is getting a very extra special treat. So yes. So by the way, if you see me looking, I have my show notes on my phone. Normally, I have everything like all neat, nicely put together, and it's like, oh, here's where everything is, and it's like, no, we're already having technical difficulties. I think I am a walking technical difficulty today.
I
So,
completely understand. All of my notes will be on my phone today as well. Christmas is a little strainy just in general, but also my youngest's birthday is like 4 days later after
oh my
Christmas, and then
gosh,
my husband's is like a couple days after that.
oh my
So
gosh.
yeah,
So you
it's
don't get a break at all.
no.
So yes, this year has actually been this has been a little different year for us because we've had some changes to our family structure and that I recently lost my father. So a lot of our activities that normally stem around Christmas season have been changed up a little bit, and new things are happening. So I'm going to do. Bear with me. We have comments already. Bear with me.
Oh,
Um,
the
I'm doing the
comment.
behind the scenes, and y'all know I suck at this. So,
Distracting hand. What is this?
yeah,
Hand things.
show. What is that one? I'm slow. Oh wait, there was.
Oh,
So oh, thank you, Eli. Eli.
says sorry for your loss. DL rocking the Ray Harryhausen stop motion filter.
Okay, yeah, I don't know what this is. I have no idea what this is. I am okay. So
I think it's a jab at your cameraing for this show.
okay, yeah, like the camera that I normally use for this, the microphone, I have it all here. It's just not working. So so
Anytime
we
you
roll.
travel with
We roll with
technology.
the punches. We roll with the punches. Okay, so I have to ask, did you get anything cool and creepy for Christmas this year?
Creepy.
Oh, coffee.
Or coffee. I got a new
Coffee.
coffee mug.
Oh,
Gothy, let's see here. I got some new red boots, red
ooh.
knee-high boots that are super cute, and a leather little biker hat, which
Oh,
I will
fun.
be rocking probably around Pride.
All right, all right. Okay.
And an all gray palette, eyeshadow palette. I know that sounds insane, but I've
Nope.
been needing an all gray. Every single palette I get's like, here's bright colors and a white and a black, and I'm like, okay, I can make my own grays, but I would really like just a gray, all of the different grays palette. My husband finally found one, so
Oh,
I was ecstatic.
oh, I bet. I bet. So this is one of my happies that I got. This the 40th anniversary Elvira. Um, yeah, yeah. So excited because yeah, we're all Elvira girls. Okay, so I'm going to take a moment and welcome and bring in our special guest.
Bring it on.
It's Santa. It's Santa.
Hello.
Hi.
So yes, we have Mr. and Mrs. Claus, and right now I'm going blurry. This is a great show.
It's going to be fine. We're
There
going
we
to be
go.
fine. All right.
My
So
full feed
Santa.
looks good.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So, all right. So it is officially December 26th. It is the day after Christmas. What are Santa and Miss Claus doing to rest and celebrate other than joining us? What timing?
Well, we got done and took our break, put the sleigh up for the year, told the elves to go take a vacation, and we're going to enjoy a few weeks off ourselves. So
We got hot cocoa.
yeah, we got a lot of hot cocoa we got to finish up. It was a little warmer this year at the North Pole, so didn't need the cocoa as much. So we're hitting that pretty hard here a couple of days after that long journey on Christmas Eve. So we're moving along with that. So a lot of bathroom breaks with that hot cocoa.
Wonderful. That sounds wonderful. Okay, so our show tonight, and I know you are not a bad Santa. You are a wonderful Santa, but we have actually, one of our topic this afternoon or this evening is going to be bad Santas. And I know that there's a lot of movies. I know there are even some true crime that we might be venturing into. So let's just start off with the earring. Pow. Okay. I'm gonna leave it like that for most of the time. Everybody wants to see Santa and Miss Claus. Okay. So have you watched any bad Santa style movies or anything stand out that is a personal favorite or not a personal?
Oh,
Bad
personal
Santa.
fan, definitely Bad Santa. Billy Bob Thornton. That's actually one of my nice little favorite. It's kind of always at the dark side. You see in somebody that you don't really get to always portray, but very dark in that movie with what Santa represented. I don't condone what he did in there. However, it was a very funny, humorous movie. Well done. Just to show a different side of Christmas for what a lot of my Santa helpers out there have to put up with every year, and a lot of them what they go through. So they don't always have the criminal record behind them, but a lot of them do have to put up with a lot of people out there when they're at the shopping malls and listening to children and trying to keep in character, and then also trying to just make everybody happy. And that's the biggest thing, is trying to make everybody happy. And we all know that's a never-ending battle for everybody. Another one, Silent Night, Deadly Night. That one's a real good classic. Always love seeing Santa say naughty. That's always a good thing when I can actually see someone else say that and mean naughty. What the essence of naughty means in some deranged people's minds. So unfortunately in that one, Santa was portrayed as a rapist at the beginning of the movie, which spun on to a young child and pretty much mentally put him away for the rest of his life. As he got older, that's what he became, was he associated Santa with murder and rape and everything like that. So unfortunately, that's again nothing that I would condone. However, it's one of those things where you're just like, you can see where the reality is in the world where something like that would happen. So, but then you always have, other versions of Santa, the classic Christmas story, Santa Maul pushes Ralphie down the sled with his boot. Ho, ho, ho. That's always the class creepy Santas, around. And then you can go back even to the Twilight Zone, to the Night of the Meek. That was a great one from the Honeymooners.
Also Fat Man.
Yeah. And then also the Fat Man, Mel Gibson recently.
Have you seen? Yeah, I have been dying to watch that one.
Fat Man is an excellent, nice, realistic take. Even though, yes, being the real Santa, but a nice little take on what Santa has to actually struggle through every year to keep the business afloat, per se. Because toys just don't get made out of nothing. Even no matter how much magic you have, you can't. You still have to feed the elves, feed them plenty of sugar and candy to keep them going on their high schedule and going from there.
So actually, this is another one that I was wanting to point out. I was kind of running around with my crew a little bit earlier today, and we were talking about some of the more obscure bad Santa movies in rare export out of Sweden is basically it's a Santa Claus movie where he gets kidnapped and thrown in like a, I guess, kind of like a dungeon or something. Not like a dungeon, but he's basically kidnapped and like discarded, and he has to fight his way out. And reminds the description of it alone, I'm like, oh, I can.
Sounds like Dante's Inferno with Santa.
Yeah, or Escape from the North Pole.
Escape from the North Pole. Yes. There's some definite.
On the first movie that you were talking about with Billy Bob Thornton, and then him being, one of the helpers of Santa, there's been a trend going around online, and a lot of this happens at Disney with people who are cast at Disney, and it's recently been happening a lot with Santa helpers. I'm wondering if you've heard about this at all. Is all of these people with vlogs and YouTubes and everything come up and then like shove cameras in these people's faces who didn't okay it and start trying to ask them all these crazy questions, get them to say something weird. And I watched a TikTok, I think it was, where someone was just talking about how upsetting that is when you're trying to do your best and you're trying to make everyone happy. And so I was wondering if you'd heard anything about that on the Christmas side of it.
Not a lot, but I mean, I can see where they do that because everyone's looking for the sound bite. Everyone's looking for that particular thing to get you to say that, oh, this Santa said this or this Santa said that. And really, it's just, when they ask you those questions, you just got to remember, the things with Christmas that go along with that, so you don't say something out of character. And that's when you're really Santa. So if someone asks you if you're really Santa, you can say either you're Santa's helper or you can say you are Santa. I mean, that's something that you want to keep the dream alive, because really Santa is what people feel inside. Okay, so that's what keeps Santa alive. It's not what it's not what just somebody said something or said something like that. So even if somebody says something, or it might even say a little off key, that doesn't mean that person's a bad person. We all know that. We all meet people on the street that you walk up and you get a kind of ill impression off, but then you see them go do something great 10 minutes later. So it's one of those things that Santa is, just because somebody might have said or said a microphone in your face and might have said something a little bit off key, they're doing a lot of good for the kids, and they're trying to sit there and make everyone happy during this time of year. And when they do the little sound bites like that with an oddball question, sometimes it's just we're human beings. We might not answer the question specifically the way we should, but I think a lot of them just have to remember that they are portraying a character that is loved around the world, and a lot of young kids really look up to, and even adults still believe in me, and that's what we really want everyone to do.
Well, I know that you have a lot of people who, when you are in character, and I'm thinking in not necessarily for you, Santa, because we know that this is all the time. But for those of us who are cosplayers and we are in character, there are a lot of people who try to get in your face. They try to get you to react, and they want to catch whatever they can negative. But I also have to wonder sometimes when you're a character or portraying a character like Santa Claus, there's a bit of a duality that goes alongside that, because you have people who are really good at it. They're in it for the right reasons. You do have people who are like the Billy Bob Thornton character from Batman, who are there strictly to collect a check. And I know just from people that I have been around that are full-time mall Santas, that it can be a very lucrative business, and sometimes they lose the joy of the holiday and the spirit by, I guess, being less the embodiment of Santa Claus.
Well, just go back to the movie Jingle All the Way, where you saw all the convicts, who had a subterranean toy export market.
I forgot about that.
Behind the scenes, which yes, that goes on. There are bootleg toys, there are bootleg things that go out, and people make, if there's a buck to be made, it's gonna be made. Rather it's in the spirit of Christmas, where they're actually trying to help maybe make some products that people couldn't get at a lesser or whatever version of it. But in that same sense, they're there to make a buck. So that's kind of the funny thing, that movie is pretty way out there for as far as what Christmas was about. It wasn't just about the gift. It was about, trying to get that one gift for your kid. And how do you get that gift? Well, he had to go some pretty extreme methods to try and find a toy for his child that day while having Sinbad try to prevent him from getting the Turbo Man. So, but yes, you can still get Turbo Mans. Funko did come out with an actual Turbo Man. So,
cool.
That's kind of the cool little thing that they do have out now, as a true Turbo Man action figure that you can have.
I think my favorite Santa movie of all, while we're just going over movies, was the Santa Claus. Not even for like the whole storyline, just for Bernard the elf. I had the biggest crush on Bernard the elf growing up. I was just like, this is my favorite Christmas movie.
Yes.
This one.
Okay, so I want to see a new Santa Claus where Santa's son, because it's been the same actor throughout the movies. I would love to see him take on the role now and don the coat and become Santa Claus. I think that would be
in that series, like specifically that. That would make for the happy.
That'd be good. I mean, those were. I mean, they all three were real good, well-made movies. Portrayed Santa in a very good, I'd say,
light.
Good light. Just to keep the spirit and everything, and believing in the different things that was the whole point of that. It wasn't about who Santa was. It was about wearing the coat and being Santa and embodying the actual what Santa was once you got given the coat. So that, just like you said, the son picking that up and going on would be a good version to move along with too for that.
Oh, I just thought of something dark though. Doesn't that mean that his dad has to die though? Isn't it like?
Well, no, because
then they pass it down.
Well, his dad didn't die in the third one when Martin Short took the coat. It just
true.
He just didn't exist to be Santa anymore. So,
Jack Frost
that was kind of the thing. Yeah, Jack Frost. Okay. So he didn't die.
Makes me feel better now.
That was a little time, the multiverse of madness type thing going on there with that one. So.
Okay, so everybody, let's go around the room, round table. I think that it's already been said. Favorite Santa Claus movie of all time. Go.
I just said mine. So next.
Oh wow! Oh wow! That's a tough one. Favorite Santa Claus movie. I mean, me personally, it's not about Santa. I still love Christmas Carol though. I mean, and It's a Wonderful Life. Those again, it's about the spirit of Christmas. I think sometimes that Santa, that's what it all entails, is that big spirit. But the Christmas Carol, to see how one person can actually, like It's a Wonderful Life, very similar things, that one person can make a difference in everyone's life.
Yeah, I like Santa Claus is Coming to Town.
Oh.
The claymation.
That one's good.
Burl Ives.
Yeah.
Was that Heat Miser and Snow Miser, or is that a different?
No, that was The Year Without Santa.
That was The Year Without Santa Claus. We should know this. We should know these things. Okay, so I have two. One is a Santa Claus movie, one is not. My absolute favorite, this is me being a vintage girl, Miracle on 34th Street.
Yes, very good.
Absolutely my favorite Christmas movie ever since I can remember, until, I'm going to get busted on this one. I have always claimed that I do not like Will Ferrell. I do not like his brand of comedy. However, I am a closet Will Ferrell fan. I think that Elf is probably now my new favorite, and I will quote it.
It's good. That end scene where everyone starts singing, and then the sleigh, and he's like, "Dad, you're mouthing along." Sing, and then the feels, all of the feels in that end scene. Oh my God!
Anytime you get James Caan to be in a movie, a Christmas movie specifically, James Caan. That's it.
I have a confession. I've never seen Elf.
You never watched the whole thing.
Is it an aversion to Will Ferrell?
No, just timing. It's just I like Will Ferrell, but it's just the timing. I've never watched
Zoe Dashiell's in it.
Is she?
Yeah.
Singing too.
Yeah. Who is it in the beginning? The elf in the beginning? Bob.
Oh, Bob. Yeah, Bob Newhart.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, that was such good casting.
Santa.
I gotta watch it.
Yeah, Ed Asner, you know.
We have time now. The elves are gone.
Yeah, the elves are gone.
There's a
Some of the
TikTok
best-
sound trending right now, which from Elf, which is the "All right, guys, 8 a.m. Santa's coming to town," and then Will Ferrell going Santa.
Mhm.
That is the
Gotta get
absolute best-
excited.
You're not Santa. I know
You,
Santa. You smell it.
Was it sausage
Beef and
and beer or something like beef and sausage?
cheese,
Yeah,
beef and cheese.
beef and cheese. Yeah.
You sat on a throne of lies.
Mhm.
Y'all started it. I just have to finish it.
Wow.
And I
No,
misquote
that's-
everything, so y'all don't judge me.
No.
It's fair. I can't quote anything word for word unless I was like obsessed with it at the age of 12.
Mhm.
Anything past that is no longer take spongy brain.
Wait a minute. Bruce Campbell as Santa / Odin from The Librarian? Is that like the television or the show?
I
didn't
don't
know.
I don't
know,
know.
but
And then
I want to see that. Someone says Santa Claus the movie with Dudley Moore.
I didn't realize there was a Santa Claus Dudley Moore movie.
Yeah, that came out about 1980, between 80 and 83, I think that
Someone
came
said
out.
Miracle on 34th Street. Oh, my mom. That's
Yeah.
my mom. Said Miracle on 34th Street.
Thanks, Mom.
I was actually just talking about Odin the other day. We were talking about, origins of legends and stuff. And I was like, well, Odin was like, he on Yule would lead the wild hunt across the sky with this flying horse, and kids would leave out their shoes filled with hay and celery, and he would leave presents for the kids. And I was like, does that sound familiar? Maybe like someone's brother or something? Or
Well, our previous show, we talked about some of the darker legends from other areas that are stemmed around the holiday season. And and I think it was you that pointed out that a lot of those stories and those tales and those mythos have similarities that cross all borders. And I think that's very fascinating. And obviously that is one. So
it's kind of like a giant game of telephone to me. Someone says, oh, did you know something, something, something? And then they go to the next person, something, something, thing. And the next person goes, something, thing, some. And then it just kind of it mutates and grows into these things that affect people's lives. And I love that.
So you need a whole TV show, Santa Strange Christmas Hunters.
Oh, that would be cool.
Wait, you want them searching for you?
Well, they go
here?
search for the goats that walk around and the Krampuses and everything.
Just
and
have
get
someone
real pictures
along.
of these things.
Just have someone along one time, 1 year with like a vlog camera being like, all right, guys, we're hitting Florida next. And
Yep. At the Everglades, there's a lot of stuff in there, especially of the Pacific Northwest. And watch for the Sasquatch when you're landing the sleigh.
or the cat.
Yeah.
The giant cat.
Mm-hmm.
Now we had kind of touched on the duality aspect of it, and we are about halfway in. And I have a audience participation. Audience participation. I can't speak either. Audience can't word. I'm not good at. I do have an audience participation question. However, I do not have the slide. Woohoo! So I'm going to go ahead and throw this out there. Have you ever had a really, really bad experience with a Santa Claus character or with a Santa Claus? And I mean, I know Santa, it's going to be kind of hard for you to have a bad experience with another Santa, but
with yourself.
With yourself. Well, with
Well, I mean, you have to deal with it. Like we said, there are some people out there that portray Santa in a bad way, and I do run into them time to time because I know who they are. So behind the scenes, when they get that lump of coal and they wonder why, well, I mean, that's just.
And he did have to give out some coal.
I give industrial sized pieces of coal for those guys. It's not just a little lump of coal. It's nice meteorite stumped under the tree.
I cannot think of any singular in my life bad Santa experience that happened to me. All I can think of are like those terrifying old vintage photos from like I don't even know how long ago of the kids on the lap, but like Santa looks like he's possessed. That's all I can think of that comes to mind.
Mm-hmm.
I had not necessarily with Santa himself or with a Santa, but I did have a disturbing item show up this year for Christmas, and I am requesting it. So hopefully the Cabana Boy will come throw it at me real quick. But we'll loop back around to that. So kind of talking on the duality of Santa Claus and some of the type of people that it does bring out, because our show is really more, it's horror themed, it is goth themed, and I understand, Lauren, you have put together some very interesting information for us.
Yeah, I have two true crime things that I want to talk. I don't want to do this one first. Hang on, let me go back to my other one. That one's too depressing. We'll start with this one.
Okay.
All right. So Bruce MacArthur was a landscaper from Toronto. He worked as a Santa Claus in a shopping center during Christmas. Mm-hmm. He ended up pleading guilty to 8 charges of first-degree murder, which took place between 2010 and 2017.
Wow.
He was caught with a stash of photos of his victims' corpses after killing them in the Toronto, Canada area, and he hid the bodies in his landscaping on his clients' properties.
Wow.
You?
Yeah. So okay. That's one bad Santa.
Yeah. I remember him. He didn't get any gifts that year. So.
No. Yeah, he was
for many years.
Yeah. I think you're pretty much on the permanent naughty list at that point.
Yeah. He was actually a traveling salesman as well. He would sell underwear and socks. He had 2 children and a wife. Just apparently had a very interesting pastime.
Him and old John Wayne Casey having a good time together.
Right? Yeah. The second one I wanted to touch on of my bad Santas, and please, I'm going to do my best with the names in this story. I'm not very familiar with these names, so I did try and look a bunch of them up. On Christmas Eve 2008, Bruce Jeffrey Pardo knocked on the door of his former in-law's home while dressed in a Santa suit and holding a gift-wrapped package. When an 8-year-old girl opened the door, he did blast her with a semi-automatic handgun, then charged in through the house and started shooting at the party goers. The girl's mother called 911. They ended up getting someone there, but during everyone, 911 getting there and everything, he unwrapped the package, which ended up being a homemade flamethrower, set the entire house on fire. Then he drove 40 miles, parked his rental car a block from his brother's house, used a shredded suit to booby trap the inside of the vehicle. So if police attempted to move the suit, tripwires would ignite a fire and explode 200 rounds of ammunition inside the car. And then he bought a ticket to Canada to try and get away. But none of that ever happened because apparently he unalived himself before. I guess he had some regrets there. He ended up killing, I think it was another 8 people. Let's see here. It was his ex-wife. My apologies there. Her name was Sylvia. I have all of this on my phone. Sorry. Da, 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 da. Just background music here. Apparently he did all of this because of a very strenuous divorce. In total, he killed 9 people. In addition to killing Sylvia, he also murdered her parents, 2 of her brothers, their wives, a sister, and a nephew. And I can't find their names. It was here earlier, but they did have difficult names, but I cannot find them right now. Anyway, very bad Santa.
You can't make that stuff up.
That's movie stuff right there.
You just can't make it up.
Insane.
You sure it wasn't a Terminator from the future? That sounds just like
right.
It literally sounds what that sounds like. It sounds like another Christmas Terminator.
It literally stated in the original article that the suit melted to parts of his body and he just kept going. I agree with you. I think this is some kind of futuristic robot technology, AI things going on, because I cannot even imagine.
That is so messed up and so detailed. And I mean, there's so many.
How much
planning to pull that off, to get that far with it, that no one took him out before he even got out of the first house, to go, open up the flamethrower, then go do the car thing. And it's like, good Lord. I mean,
I'm not sure I believe that he unalived himself in that. I think someone was just like, just gonna do everyone a favor here. And oh, look, guys, he did it himself. Darn.
Yeah, that was a oops. I'm walking my dog, and my dog having to eat them. Sorry.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so I have another. I have a question. How easy is it to get a flamethrower?
It was homemade. He made it
He
at
made it.
home
Okay.
himself.
Okay.
One of those subscribers to the big book of no-nos.
Well, Tony Stark, he makes everything that way in the movie. So
It's true. But this was not a movie. This
But that was-
sounds
Yeah,
like
wow.
it would be a movie, man.
well, Leonardo DiCaprio keeps them. Once upon a time in Hollywood. We can keep flamethrowers in our garage.
Well, but it's not something that that's completely unheard of. I not that I know anybody who has a flamethrower, but I have seen video of people who have a flamethrower. I'm just like,
Yeah.
Clear the driveway with ice.
I was watching a car show the other day with my husband where they buy old cars, fix them up, and then sell them to buy another old car and try and make money off of it that way. And they were trying to sell it to this dude who's like a gun collector. And so they were like, well, we're sure this car has something that your other ones don't. It was a Jeep. It had like the open top, had a flamethrower attached to the top. They just bought it online. And I was like, sure, Amazon, let's just look up how flamethrower. I didn't know that was a thing.
Mm-hmm.
how
There you
easy
go.
is it to get a flamethrower? Not answering? Nope. Don't know. Talking about
I did get a few
Letting
people
me know.
requesting that. I had to rethink giving those gifts out this year.
if we know anybody who has a flamethrower, it's probably Eli. Yeah, probably. Okay, so I know you mentioned like creepy holiday, like Santa pictures and the horrifying costumes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a piece of decor that I don't even think will make it home with me.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Is that
It is-
the shrunken the apple head? Remember they used to make Santas out of like apples, dried apples?
And they
Oh, no,
would like
what's-
get worse and worse.
Yeah, they keep getting worse and worse. It'd be like a shrunken head. That's what that reminds me of.
Eddie, you're frozen. Oh, there we go.
Uh-oh.
Ah! Just
Yeah,
popped right
that-
up there.
that's on the
no,
creepy
yeah,
side.
that's not okay. Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah,
This
that
was
would
shown to me, and I'm like, I really
that
don't
would
wanna
scar
do
me
that
as a child.
nowadays. Yes, it scarred me as an adult. And I like.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Camera
I
down.
lost it.
That's okay. We'll.
It's
Oh, she's
Carter.
upside
Now
down.
we're upside down. Okay, now we're reloading.
Do. So when it comes to not just movies, but like maybe
Mhm.
songs and stuff like that, are there any specific Bad Santa songs that you enjoy? Because the first one that pops into my head is the whole Weird Al, "The Night Santa Went Crazy."
Yeah.
That's like the only one that I ever really get. There's a lot of other Christmas parodies, like chipmunks roasting on an open fire and such.
Mhm.
But are there
Oh,
any
yeah.
of your favorites, like the
Well,
ones that you're like, it's fun?
Well, I mean the Grinch, is always, I mean that, Boris Karloff singing that. I mean that just, or actually it's Tony the Tiger, the voice of Tony the Tiger singing that. It's not Boris Karloff. Boris Karloff did the Grinch.
You just blew her mind.
Yeah, Tony the Tiger, the voice of Tony the Tiger actually sings the Grinch song.
You got to give her a minute.
I've missed
You're
something. What have I
great.
missed?
You're a mean one. Oh
Yeah.
my god!
It's
Yeah,
Tony the Tiger.
that's who sings the Grinch song. It's the
Okay.
original voice of Tony the Tiger. Yep. But Boris Karloff did the Grinch. That's all I gotta remember. He did the Grinch, not the song. But yeah, Tony the Tiger's voice sings that. So I didn't know that either. That kind of blew my mind when I put it together. I was like, oh my gosh. That's
Have
it.
you heard the version of, instead of "I am Iron Man," it's "I am Santa Claus," and it's the whole song, but as about Santa Claus?
No,
I believe one of the
I
last
probably
lines-
heard it and just didn't pay too much attention. Yeah.
Huh?
I used it for the reel, but I didn't put the turn on the sound. So if you
Oh.
go back and watch the
No, it's okay. I think the last line is what gets me, like, leave him cookies and beer. He'll go to your house first next year.
Yep. It's something different. Now, milk is good, but I do gotta drive the sleigh because the reindeer don't have GPS, so I still have
They
to
get lost.
get a little Rudolph might help, but he doesn't. He gets a little off kilter sometimes.
Okay, so what is the ideal present that Santa Claus would give Mrs. Claus?
Whatever she wants.
That is the correct answer.
Because if you whatever she asks for, you get it.
You to have more time off.
You do not question it.
So that you can sit at home.
So there is no ultimate gift. As you ask for things, you get them for her.
It's a vacation to Hawaii.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, as far as an ultimate gift, I don't know. She'll come up with another one as soon as I get her the ultimate one from the year before. That always happens. There's always another ultimate gift. So the next big thing, because as things change, from year to year, a new gift is on the horizon all the time.
So I also did a little research. This is actually another true crime, and most people will not necessarily think of Santa Claus necessarily. So this past week in Boulder, Colorado, it was announced they'll be submitting DNA samples to familiar companies such as like 23andMe and Ancestry in effort to identify the killer of John Benet Ramsey.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how familiar you are with the case, but so one of the suspects during the John Benet case was a person by the name of Bill Reynolds, who was the family's Santa Claus that they hired for the party. And he actually was interviewed. He became a very prime suspect. He recently passed, and he was cleared of all. He was basically cleared, and they determined that it wasn't him. But he remained a suspect and a person of interest for a large part of the investigation. His wife, I read this and I thought this was very interesting. His wife was quoted in a interview saying that he loved being Santa, he loved little children, he loved John Benet Ramsey, and the case absolutely destroyed the career and just devastated him. He loved that little girl. It was a very sad thing in his life because he genuinely loved children, and it was the happiest part of his life. And Bill himself was quoted as saying, "I felt very close to that little girl. I didn't really have other children that I have a special relationship with, not even my own children or my grandchildren. When I die, I'm going to be cremated, and I've asked my wife to mix the stardust that John Benet gave me with my ashes. We're going to go up behind the cabin and have it blow away in the wind." The stardust that he is referencing is when he went for like an open heart surgery, he had a vial of gold glitter that John Benet gave him that he took into surgery with him, and that's what he was wanting mixed. But I thought it was interesting because there was a documentary that came out a couple of years ago called Casting John Benet, and it had a lot of interviews, and it had a lot of interviews with people that were associated with it, and he was one of the characters. He was one of the people that they had interviews with, and they brought in all of these Santas. And I will be honest with you, it was probably one of the most unnerving parts of the entire documentary was watching all of these Santas and how they interacted, and how different their personalities were and everything. But he was also believed to have been one of the last people to have seen John Benet, if I remember correct, and that he actually like tucked her in like the night before. Anyway, it was kind of there were some really unusual details that go alongside that, but I thought it was very interesting because we are now at the 25th anniversary of her death. It's still unsolved. There are still so many characters that I was happy to see that the Santa Claus her Santa Claus specifically was cleared, but that was one that really kind of stuck out.
Yeah, that one's gonna be a tough one, even with all the DNA and everything that's still solved. I mean, it's just you want to see some closure with that. I mean, from everybody from pointing the finger at the parents to these, somebody, an intruder in the house.
Mhm.
There's so many still dead end roads on that whole case.
I just
Exactly.
can't imagine being in that sort of like, oh, okay. If you had some sort of really special connection with a kid and they're like you just really adore this child, like I get that way with certain kids. Donna, one of your children's like that. They walk in and I'm like, ah, and I get like super excited.
Mm-hmm.
That would be
Now, if
Aria.
yes, but if one of those kids who I felt like that sort of connection with, and something like that happened, I would feel even more connected to them than I even did before. I would feel heartbroken. Like, and so a lot of people find what he said, very weird about, I feel this connection with her more than, my own children sometimes. Yeah, people's relationships with children can sometimes be strained, but I really feel like the reason he felt that way was because of what happened. Yeah, maybe he felt this super close connection beforehand, but I think all of the events that happened spawned him to feel even more connected than maybe originally he was. But then that's just my opinion. So,
Well, you also have to take into consideration the nature of his job. He already gravitates towards being uh, comfortable around children, and not everybody is comfortable around children. A lot of people don't always know how to interact and talk with them, and every child is a little bit different. But you have somebody who is very comfortable around children, and then to have something of that nature happen and to become a primary suspect, that is, I mean, first of all, that's a weight that you're going to carry all of your life. But he also, they left Boulder, Colorado, relocated. He stopped being a Santa Claus and became a carpenter afterwards. So, I mean, it was just, yes, I can see where he would have a special connection to it, not necessarily a resentment of what happened with her, but just just the heavy weight of what had happened. And truthfully, it probably, for lack of a better explanation, killed a part of him as well.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
that case is just so hard to talk about whenever it comes up because, like,
It
it's
is.
so tricky. And not just tricky as in, like, oh, there's so much information. Yeah, that's true. But it's also, like, legally tricky. When it comes, there's stuff that I want to say, be like, oh no, like, this is what I think. And because in my brain, like, I've solved all of the crimes ever. But also, like, if I open my mouth and start any of that crap, someone's going to come and be like, hey, this is this person's lawyer. Stop it. And I'm going to be like, I don't know what you're talking about.
You get served, knock on the door, cease and desist.
Well, and there are so many elements to her case that we don't even begin. I mean, first of all, you look at the nature of pageant life, and I don't know if you've ever been around any kids who are pageant girls. I have cousins that grew up in pageants, and so it wasn't shocking, but seeing her at that age in the attire that she was wearing with all of the makeup and stuff on was not even something that I was used to seeing. And I mean, I had cousins that were my age that were doing the same thing, but they didn't look like that. And then when you start watching programs like Toddlers and Tiaras, it just adds an extra layer of discomfort about it. So,
uncomfortability. That's the new word.
Yeah. Like, words are not working for me tonight.
Okay, we all have that issue once in a while.
5 times a day, 12, 20 times all day. Now, so when it comes, this is not horror related, but I've just always wanted to ask. So when you go to someone's house, Santa,
Yes.
what is your favorite cookie? I've had arguments with my husband. And we keep, like, he says chocolate chip. No, wait, I thought chocolate chip because it's his favorite cookie, but he was like snickerdoodle, and I was like, maybe, I don't know.
Well,
I didn't know if there is a right answer, if you just like all of them.
Well, I like all of them. So I mean, there's not a bad cookie. I mean, unless some of these even these high protein cookies I've been getting lately from some of these fitness people. Some of those are a little dry to get through, but they're still good. But the standard sugar cookies are always still the best. I mean, it's really easy, simple. Most of the kids can make those themselves. Now, see, there you go. Those are the perfect ones. And those are just the easiest I see that the little kids can make for me, and they set them out, and they're a simple recipe. So that's really the nice thing about that. But I love dabbling in the macadamia nut cookie, or the chocolate chip, or anything like that. So and get even some brownies once in a while are a nice little change of pace.
Sometimes you'll get a Rice Krispie treat.
So yes, Rice Krispie treats. And those two. Now some people go a little further and they leave out a piece of cake, which is nice, but I think that's a little too much. I question their motives at that point.
It's too late to get on the other list.
But
I already have their present in the bag.
Yeah, they already got it. I don't get there with the list where there's a kind of I don't know. It's either already done or when I get there. So it's not one of those things that
because you check it.
I decide. I check it twice before I go, and Mrs. Claus makes sure that the people that make the naughty list, we do not. We already have a nice little, like I said, some get bigger chunks of coal than others.
I was just going to tell a cookie story. It's terrible.
All right.
It's a horror story in itself.
No, this is not horror. This is cookie story. Tell your cookie story, because I have a...
Okay, so my his favorite cookie is a white chocolate macadamia nut. I never made them, and I like to bake cookies from scratch. Sometimes I'll cheat and buy the store ones and cookies. But I wanted to make homemade from scratch white chocolate macadamia nut cookies, and so we bought all of the stuff to do it, and we decided to make them pink. And I don't know what went wrong, but these were the worst cookies I've ever made in my entire life. They turned into these blobs. They looked like I took Play-Doh and put it in the oven, and then they just turned into these pink blobs of Play-Doh. Then we tried to bite one of them. It was so dry, y'all. It was so dry. It was like melted Play-Doh made out of sand that was so salty, and I didn't put salt in it. So I don't know if we got the wrong kind of nuts, if we got the salted kind, or what went wrong. But something very much went wrong. They were so bad. And so I was determined. I was like, we're going back to the store. We were getting more macadamia nuts and chocolate chips. And I tried over again from scratch, left out the dye and just did regular so it wouldn't do anything weird. Come to find out, when you're making these cookies, you have to melt the butter to get it melty, then let it sit out to let it get room temperature. Then after you mix everything together, you have to put it in the fridge, because if it's room temperature when you cook it, it just melts into blobs. But if it's cold and then you stick it in the oven, it'll keep a cookie shape. I did not know any of that. And I swear, y'all, these were the worst cookies ever, but I redeemed myself. And they're the ones I left you, Santa. They're the ones we left you this last time around. So
you didn't get Play-Doh blobs?
No, not Play-Doh blobs.
Now you know. Public service announcement.
Melt that butter.
Okay, so when my oldest child was old enough to start getting ready to leave out cookies and milk for Santa, my father-in-law decided it would be an amusing thing to explain to her that Santa Claus eventually gets tired of cookies. He wants a bologna sandwich.
Okay.
A fried bologna sandwich.
All right.
Okay, so, okay.
Fried bologna's good.
Okay.
I'd be up for this. This is going good story so far. For the bologna.
We don't generally have bologna in my house. It's not something that we keep on hand. So every year from, let's see, my oldest child is 24, I think. Oh God, that's bad, isn't it? She's older. She's in her 20s. My youngest child is 16. And so from the time that she was probably 2 years old and she could communicate and understand, leave cookies and milk out. We have been scrambling on Christmas Eve every single year to find a package of bologna. Now, as you know,
I've
you
enjoyed
don't
that.
you don't
Good,
think
good
about it
stuff.
until you're leaving. Like we usually do Christmas Eve at my parents' house, and then we would do Christmas Day at my in-laws' house. So, and of course, it wasn't until we were leaving my parents' house, all of a sudden we're like, "Oh my gosh, we got to go get bologna." It's like, where are we going to go to get bologna? I'm going to apologize now because you have had gas station bologna on many occasions at my
That
house.
explains
No,
it.
you know, the heartburn, you know,
Yeah.
little
That's
little
what Tums
antacid
are
here and
for.
there, you know, but yeah, make sure that, you know, the good German mustard on there, nice thick piece, yeah, fry it up real good. It's all good.
Nice.
Now we're like busting into because like Walgreens at this point is never open. It's like nothing is open. It's only a gas station, and you have to go to like 12 different gas stations to find one that
Just don't get the
actually-
olive loaf, okay?
Yeah. I'm sorry.
No olive loaf
No olive loaf.
No.
or no Braunschweiger.
Like just running in the gas station, going, "You got bologna! You got
Mhm.
bologna!"
Good old Oscar Mayer. We'll take that.
All right, so Santa,
Yeah.
can I put you on the spot here?
Let me tell a cookie story first, and you can put me on the spot.
Go for it. Go cookies.
So when making sugar cookies, if you want to put the little Hershey's Kisses in there, if for some reason you run out of Hershey Kisses, do not use Hershey's Bells. When they melt, they'll look like nipples. So instead of cookies with nice little kisses in them, you're going to give me nipples.
Sugar boobs.
So just word for the wise for all you parents out there. If you can't get the kisses, don't use the bells to send your kid to school.
Lauren, we're making these for the next show. We're going to have sugar boobs for the next show.
I want sugar boobs. It seems like that would, I don't know, it seems like they wouldn't melt right. That they would almost burn. Do you know what I mean?
The bells they kind of just go down, and again it looks like a nipple when it melts instead of the nice.
I want nipple cookies.
All right, you can put me on the spot now.
Okay. Santa talking nipples. Someone just commented Santa talking nipples. All right. So when it comes to, because we're horror girls, when it comes to Santa and horror, we've talked about movies. We hit some music stuff. Now, do you have any like horror stories? Was there ever someone who came up or some situation where you're just like, I would like to go now, please. Can we please not this?
Well, when you come down the chimney and you see 5 drunk hillbillies sitting in their chairs still staring at you, and 2 of them have shotguns waiting for Uncle Bobby come back from dating his next door neighbor, well, that gets a little dicey, you know. So I have to kind of talk them out of it and kind of remind them that, hey, I'm here to deliver the presents. I'm just going to be in and out real quick, and they go there. And then usually they back off a little bit, but that scares me a little bit when you come down. And I'm not trying to say all hillbillies are that way, but when they're been drinking a little bit at night, and you come down the chimney or wherever you go, they've had a little bit too much to drink, and they see Santa that first time standing in their house when they're not supposed to. Oh, it gets a little dicey. So
see, I think the dogs would be more scary.
No, dogs usually. No, I can usually take care of dogs. I usually have a couple treats for them. You know, even the mean guard dog ones, they come right up to me, give them a little treat, little pet. They're on their way. It's the real people you got to watch out for. They've been drinking a little too much because they think it's a hazy dream that they're having, and they don't realize that I'm just here to deliver the gifts.
Okay, so I would like the world to just confirm everyone heard it. Santa Claus stated the thing that I've been saying the whole time. Humans are the real monsters, not the animals or the monsters. Humans.
Yeah. You just have to watch out. Just for the humans, or not everybody's bad. And I'm not saying that. I'm just saying you just have to know how to deal with the situation when it happens.
That's awesome. Thank you.
We are actually at the top of the hour, but I do have one more question. I know. We have to let Santa have a bit of a vacation, and we do appreciate you guys so much for joining us. Thank you.
I don't know if you can read that.
What does that say?
You already have sugar boobs. My husband texted me. Anyway, continuing on.
Okay, so what is the trick to getting into a non-fireplace house?
getting on fireplace house. It's by my nose. I mean, I still have the Santa magic. People don't realize that I can get quite thin and get down those little pipes or somewhere in your house. But I do have to occasionally use the front door. I've become an excellent lockpick, and I have maneuvered around plenty of security systems over the years
Santa's
to
a
get
rogue.
in. So yes, I do get in the house, but I get in. I know how to turn off the ADT and everything that out there. So, but I turn it back on before I go, and I don't mess with anything. I leave the gifts, and I'm out of there. So yes, there are a few times where I cannot get in, even with my magic. I still have to use the door. And then with the gas fireplaces, you just have to make sure, please turn them off at night. I don't like to come down. My boots do get singed quite a few times on Christmas. So it gets a little hot, but they're nice fire retardant boots. So I do stomp them off. So if you do see a little soot and things like that by your fireplace in the morning, it's just my boots burned a little bit because you left the fireplace on.
Yeah.
We don't ever hit the fireplace, but occasionally when you do come down, you knock our skeleton out of the fireplace. We have a fireplace skeleton.
Yeah, I clean out some flumes. I've noticed I've cleaned out some flumes, some dead squirrels and things like that over the years. So I've had to come down. And when I come back out, I'm tossing them out of the sleigh as I go. Birds, squirrels, things like that go down. So please clean out your flumes too.
Gotcha.
Okay, so as I said, we are at the top of the hour. First of all, I would love to say thank you so much to Santa and Miss Claus, also known as Red Skull Alliance, in perfect cosplay. You can find please share. Where can we find you? Where can our friends, our fans stalk you?
We're on. I'm on the My Red Skull Alliance on Facebook and also on Instagram. And Marcy is on Perfect Cosplay on Facebook, and then Marcy just wants their name.
Yeah, Marcy just wants a name because every time I kept trying to create an account, I couldn't get one. So that's what I had to go with.
I think I'm putting together something from a past episode in here, but I'm just gonna.
What are you putting together?
Was there like a Jason Voorhees reference here?
Yes.
Okay. Ha!
Yeah.
Okay. I'm done. That's
Yes.
all.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So.
Okay, so obviously, thank you so much for joining us. We
yeah.
greatly appreciate you taking some time to sit down and chat with us. Also, want to say thank you to Back of the Cereal Box and Johnny for allowing us to do that. Also, wanted to kind of bring up, we now have our own YouTube channel. We're just kind of getting it started. So our show not only streams to the Back of the Cereal Box YouTube, but it also is now streaming to Ice Cream Queens, but we have some additional things such as our little cooking videos and little outings. So things that you might not necessarily get in our regular content. We recommend you give us a follow and make a comment. And
Nipple cookies.
Nipple
Cookies.
Those are coming.
We'll make those.
Cookies are coming. We are going to wait.
We're gonna do it. Also, I did make a video about the absolutely terrible pink Play-Doh cookies on TikTok.
There you go.
So we can put that on the YouTube if you want.
Make the blob cookies.
Yeah.
You call it the blob cookies. There you go. Horror reference. The blob cookies.
Okay, so good evening, Merry Christmas, very late Merry Christmas, but Merry Christmas and pleasant screams.
Ho, ho, ho.
Keep waving.
God bless us, everyone. I don't know. I can never tell when we're done.